On Whirlpool presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 timeout powered by Dell. We're looking ahead to the game between Kings 11 Punjab and the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Joining me shortly, Ajit Agarkar and Dasgupta. Right, gentlemen, let's get underway. First of five previous statements coming your way. Deep, we're saying that the Kings 11 should continue with Jimmy Neesham.
Well, he replaced Chris Jordan, who's a death over specialist, right? So if they have that kind of faith in Mohammad Shami and Arshdeep, which they should, both of them bowled beautifully in the last game in the death overs, then it makes more sense. Then you strengthen your batting and you get someone who can give you 2-3 overs in the middle. Mohammad Shami and Arshdeep has done a fairly good job. In fact, a really good job in the last few games. So yeah, Jimmy Neesham, that gives you more bite or teeth as far as batting is concerned. And that also would help the top order to express themselves a little more freely.
Ajit?
Yeah, I mean, if Maxwell is going to give them those overs, which they seem to be banking on a lot right now, then you don't really need Jimmy Neesham's 4 overs. Then you can have him almost as your sixth bowler or make up that sixth bowler or fifth bowler with somebody. Then it's fine. Then it increases depth in your batting.
Mhm.
So even if you lose wickets like they did last time, you still have a batter at number seven, which helps their case. So that's the only thing. If you're going to bank on his bowling, I'm not sure he is the guy to play ahead of Chris Jordan or even Willian, who's been sitting in the dugout. So that part they need to get right. Who their best five bowlers are at the moment. Maxwell's been a real bonus for them.
All right, next up, Ajit, we're saying Chris Gayle must play aggressively from the start.
Obviously, someone who's been so good in this format or any format must have hurt him to be sitting out and almost thought of as a backup player. So he seems determined to get runs. See, as long as he's not slowing the team down, I don't think there's a certain way that Chris Gayle should play, at least in my opinion. I think he's far too experienced and far too good. Even if he's not as good as he was a few years back, he's still far too good that we've seen a couple of games that he can figure a way out. And experience. I mean, that kind of experience, it's hard to tell somebody how to bat.
Deep?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Ajit. I mean, he's the most experienced batsman in this format, most number of runs in this format, and I mean, he'll do what he does best. So, I mean, again, someone like Chris Gayle, he has his own way of approaching an innings. It's not whether he's going to take time early on or not. I think he plays percentage game. That's what I think. I mean, based on how he's approaching the game. And yeah, listen, he'll do what he does best, so he'll figure it out.
All right, what about a selection call for the Sunrisers now? Deep, we're saying that they should look to bring Khalil Ahmed back in the 11. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's done all right. He's gone for a few in couple of games, but their bowling in the last couple of games has looked good. They look pretty potent actually, especially with Sandeep Sharma doing so well in the power play overs. So yeah, I mean, he brings a different dimension to that bowling attack as well. Vijay Shankar has done a really good job last couple of games. Can't take anything away from what he's done with the ball. Uh, but yeah, I mean, you might as we were talking about Jimmy Neesham before, Vijay Shankar might be your sixth bowling option. If he's your fifth bowling option, then yeah, that looks a little thin.
I guess the question, Ajit, for the Sunrisers is, does Khalil form a part of their best bowling attack? And if so, does he replace Asima or does he replace Shabaz Nadeem, who played the last game?
The one thing you can see in this attack is, and even though they played well against Rajasthan weren't good on the night. You can't see a strike bowler in there. Where uh, with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar missing, Rashid Khan's the only guy that they can go to. Okay, Holder got some wickets, and he's got the experience, but you don't still know whether he can do it on a consistent basis for them as a bowler. So, uh, yeah, if Khalil Ahmed is fit, so in my opinion, they should, because he offers them a little bit more. I think Natarajan's done well in this competition. He's bowled well at the death, but you can see now the teams almost know what to expect, and he has his limitations. So can he be a strike force up top of the order? At the moment, he hasn't shown that. So they
Yeah.
need that. Whether who to replace is obviously going to be a tough one for them, because Sandeep Sharma does his bit with the new ball. But if Khalil Ahmed is fit, I think you should play.
Okay, next up, let's go to another selection called the Sunrisers. Ajit, we're saying, in spite of Jason Holder's impressive debut, that the Sunrisers should still look to play Mohammad Nabi against Kings 11. Thoughts?
I don't think so. I mean, the only thing that they would cross their mind is how their batting did, or Vijay Shankar in particular did. That might then influence that decision that, okay, maybe perhaps our batting is doing okay now, middle order. Can we then afford Nabi? Holder's a better batsman than Nabi, but Nabi might give you a bit more with the ball. Although Holder's got 3 wickets in his 4 overs, so how do you how do you top that really? So I don't think so, in my opinion, unless the pitch is going to spin. If you can see there is going to be turn in that pitch and it's going to slow down, then you perhaps take that call on conditions. I mean, if you won so comprehensively, why try and mess around with the combination unless the conditions demand?
Deep?
It's not that straightforward. I mean, to replace or get Nabi in for Jason Holder, and he did all right in the last game. He also bowled in the death because he's filling up at least 2-3 positions, as in a death bowler, a first 6 overs bowler, and also a solid middle order batsman. So I think I wouldn't replace Jason Holder as of now.
And finally, we're saying that Glenn Maxwell's bowling is keeping him in the team. Deep?
It is what it is. He's actually bowling more often than not more overs uh, than with the bat what he's contributing. But last game he got a 30 odd, crucial 30 odd. Unfortunately, did not finish the game, which you expect of him. But yeah, I mean his bowling, especially if the opposition has a few left-handers in their ranks, obviously he becomes a very very important bowler in that lineup too.
All right, Ajit?
Yes, I think it's keeping him afloat. The good thing is he got a few runs. I mean, it's still disappointing that experienced guy like him couldn't finish it off, but those runs will do him a world of confidence. And I think they don't have an obvious option, but he's been bowling really well. Uh, so that helps with those runs. Yeah, I mean, it is his bowling which has carried him. Hopefully now his batting form's seen a bit of an upturn, and that could help Kings 11 because they seem to be flying quite high at the moment on confidence. And Maxwell's bowling has been a big factor.
All right, many thanks to Ajit Agarkar and Deep Dasgupta. That wraps up our preview for the game between Kings 11 Punjab and Sunrisers Hyderabad on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.